So next let's talk about branching. What a branch is essentially an alternate timeline that we can save commits on. So what I mean when I say that is, if you can imagine that the branch we're on now, which is master, which actually I can demonstrate to you, let's go ahead and type in git branch, which will list all of our branches. And here it's showing that we're on the master branch, indicated by this little star here. So if you can imagine that this branch we're on master is kind of like the trunk of a tree, and up until now, all of the commits we've been saving are kind of like little timestamps along that trunk of the tree. Now with branching, we have the ability to make additional branches that come off of that trunk that's called master, and these other alternate branches can have their own series of commits. So we can have a timeline full of different commits, and because it's on a separate timeline, we have the ability to just dispose of that entire timeline and say, well, I made like 10 commits working on this part of the website, but I don't really like the changes I made over on this other branch, so I'm just going to break this branch off the tree. I'm just going to delete it. Or we can decide that we do like the work we did on this other alternate timeline, on this other branch, right? And we can then do something called merging, where we merge that branch back into the trunk of the tree. So let's start off by learning how to create branches. So what we're going to do is use a command called checkout, which is git co, co standing for checkout, -b, which stands for new branch. And then we're going to name this new branch. So typically a branch is used for a feature in our code. So in this case, we are building a web application called Simon Stamp Collection, and we can imagine that Simon has asked us to add a new feature to his site. He's asked us to add a blog page. So this blog represents an additional feature to the site. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the master branch as like our finished code, our publishable code. So whenever our site is ready for the world to see, that's always going to be on the master branch. And if we're just kind of like trying out new features before they're ready for the public, we're going to do those on feature branches or separate branches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this branch after the feature I'm creating. So I'm just going to call this like blog page will be the name of this branch. So we can name this this branch anything we want, and I'm just going to call it blog page because that's like a good description of what this feature is that I'm working on. Okay, so then it tells us switch to a new branch blog page, and if I go ahead and type in that command I did before, which was git branch, you can see now it's listing two branches. It's listing master, which is like the trunk of our tree, and then it's listing blog page, which is the new feature branch I just created using the -b flag here. So again, git branch will list the branches. Git checkout or git co for checkout -b will create a new branch. So I just type git checkout -b and then the name of the branch, which can be anything you'd like. Okay, so now that I'm on this particular branch, anytime I do any commits, these commits will be stamped out in time on this branch, not on master. And again, that gives me the flexibility to either, delete this branch later on or to merge it back into the master branch. So merging again is kind of like taking that branch and then sort of like bending it back toward the trunk and like tying it back into the trunk or something like that. Basically using those changes on that branch, using those commits. So we know how to look at the branches using git branch, listing them. We know how to create a new branch by using git checkout -b and then the branch name. Now let's take a look at jumping between branches. So just to show you this is totally flexible, if I say git checkout master, it's going to switch me back over to the master branch. And you can see now master has a little star next to it. And if I say git checkout blog page, it's going to switch back over to the blog page branch. So git co or git checkout allows you to switch between the branches. Git checkout -b you can use the first time when you create a new branch. So I'm going to create a new file. Let's go ahead and say touchblog.html. All right, and then I'll jump over to my code editor, and we can go ahead and bring that file up. And let's type into this file Simon's blog page, something like that. So we'll just put some place filler text in here. We don't need to put any real HTML at this point. So this is just a placeholder, Simon's blog page. And we're going to jump back over. And of course, if I call get status, Git's going to be aware that I have a untracked file called blog. So we're going to go ahead and call a git add blog.html. And we're going to do a git commit. And we're going to give this a message that says add blog page, like that. What I can do is I can say git push origin and then the name of the branch, which is blog page. Now remember, before, the first time you push anything new to the repository, in this case a new branch, we're going to add the -u flag, and this will add tracking between the remote and the local. So I'll do git push -u origin blog page. And again, we only have to do that the first time we push up a new branch. And you can see here it added a new branch, blog page, and it says that blog page was set up to track remote branch blog page from origin. Perfect. Okay. So if we go ahead and we go to our GitHub repository, and I'm going to refresh the page just so I can see most recent changes. And now if I go to this little drop down menu here that says branch, I can see that there's a blog page branch. So on the master branch, we can see there is a gitignore and a readme.markdown file. However, if I click this and I switch over to click on the blog page branch, you can see that the blog page branch has a blog.html file that's also included there. So let's jump back over to our terminal. And let's say I had been, slaving away at my blog page feature branch, and I finally feel like my blog page is done. I've worked on it for a week now, and I've shown it to Simon, and Simon says, thumbs up, let's go ahead and add that to the website. So I'm ready to merge this branch into my master branch. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out master. We're going to jump back over to master by saying git co master. All right. And then we're going to say git merge and the name of our other branch. Okay, so we've just jumped from our blog page branch back over to the trunk of the tree, which is master, and now we're going to reach over and bend that branch back into the trunk of the tree, which is master. So you always switch back to master first using git checkout master, and then you call git merge blog page, which is the branch that you're trying to merge back into master. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and call git push origin master. And we're going to put up our new master branch after the blog page branch has been merged in. And if I come back to GitHub and refresh the page, I can jump back over to the master branch here and see that now the blog.html file does exist on the master branch. Again, git branch will list branches. Okay. Git checkout -b, and then whatever the name of the branch is, branch name is how you create a new branch. Git checkout, just the branch name without the -b flag will just jump over to branches that are already existing. So like git checkout blog page will bring me over to the blog page branch, just the same as git checkout master will jump me over to master. Okay, so let's actually create another branch. And this time we're going to do some work on it that we don't want to keep, that we're actually going to remove. So let's go ahead and say git checkout -b to make a new branch. And let's call this one contact page. So this is a feature branch where we're going to be building a contact page. So now we're switched over to that contact page branch, which we can show using calling get branch here. We can see the asterisk next to contact page. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to touch and make a file called contact.html. All right, and let's bring up Sublime Text, bring up contact.html, and we'll say contact information for Simon, and we'll save the page. Okay, jumping back, if I call a get status on this, you can see that we need to add this contact.html file. So I'll go ahead and do that. Get add contact.html. And let's say at this point that we want to go ahead and commit it. So we'll say git commit -m, and we'll say add contact. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and do a git push origin contact page. And remember, this is the first time we're pushing up contact page, so we'll just add the -u flag to set up tracking. All right, and that just created a new branch for us. So if I go back to GitHub, we should see that there, right? So if I refresh the page, we now have the blog page branch, the contact page branch, and the master branch. So if I switch over to contact page, you can see here's the contact.html file, and here's the text that was inside of it. So far, so good. Okay. All right, but unlike the blog feature we added, whereas Simon really liked the blog, he doesn't like the contact page. We're just going to need to redo it. And he's going to have us just, completely start from scratch again on it. So there's no point in keeping this branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just completely get rid of this branch. So in order to delete this branch, what we're going to do is first we need to check out a different branch. So this is kind of like, if you are using the analogy of a tree, we need to jump back over to the trunk, which is master, so that we can reach over and break off the contact page branch, right? Because what happens if you try to break off a branch that you're currently on? Well, you'll end up falling to the ground, right? We don't want to actually climb out onto the branch and then try and break it off. We want to check out master to go back to the trunk where we're safe, on a branch that we're not getting rid of, and then we're going to call a command now to get rid of the contact page branch, and that is git branch -d. -d stands for delete, and then the name of the branch, which is contact page. All right. So you can see here that it just reported to us that this branch was in fact deleted. It does give us a warning that this branch hadn't been merged yet, and that's fine because we didn't want to merge it into master. We just, we didn't like the work that we had done on it, so we're just going to delete that entire branch. Okay, so you're going to notice that if I call git branch now, it's showing me that I have master and I have blog page, and we're currently on the master branch, but you can see that the contact page branch is now gone. We no longer have that branch. Okay, so locally, contact page has been deleted. Now, it's a different story regarding the remote, because you're going to see that if we refresh the page, it's still going to exist here. The contact page branch still exists here on the remote server, okay? This is actually the way that we tell the remote repository to get rid of that branch as well. So we do that by calling git push, and we're going to say origin is who we're pushing to, and we're going to use the colon symbol and then the name of the branch that we're getting rid of. So let's go ahead and say contact page, like that. So git push origin colon contact page. The colon is important because here we are removing the branch. So normally when we're pushing up a branch, we just say git push origin in the name of the branch. Now we're saying colon contact page, and that's going to delete the branch from the remote as well. Okay, and just to double check, we can come back here and refresh, and well, it says the page isn't here anymore, and that's because we were on the contact page branch before. So we'll go ahead and just go back to the root of the repository, and if we go to branch, we can see in fact it is missing. We just have the blog page branch and the master branch. Okay, so again, just to do a quick review, get branch is going to print all the branches for us like so. If we do get checkout, we can switch between branches. Get checkout blog page switches to blog page, and get checkout master switches to master. To create a new branch, we're going to call get checkout -b, and the B flag will create a new branch here, and we'll call this one like a new branch. We'll just make up a name. All right, and then to remove a branch, we move back to any other branch where it's safe, right? So we'll go get checkout master, and then we'll do get branch -d for delete, and we'll delete our new branch, and that is gone. And then when we want to get rid of anything that we've pushed up to origin, we just put a colon in front of it by saying get push origin colon and the branch name, and that will delete the branch off of the remote.